Yeah, yeah. Well, wow. So then you went on from high school. You graduated from high school at the bottom of your class?
No, I was one of the top 6 people in my graduation.
You were one of the
I
top?
was number 6, I believe,
All right.
in my class.
All right.
I was assessed intelligent, but my performance was extremely variable. You know, probably emotional stress, family stress.
And then from Catholic school, you went to Catholic school again?
I went from Catholic school to public school, and then I went to a religious-affiliated private college that was originated by religion but wasn't practicing religious. Then I went to a Catholic college, and then I went to a public college, got my degree. Then I went back to a private college.
Then you have a degree in what?
In, get this, liberal studies in social and behavioral science is the exact name of my degree.
Liberal studies.
Liberal studies, and it means that I took whatever courses I wanted in sociology and psychology after taking sort of a core program that every student was required. So I had the basic math and the basic this and the basic that. And I took a lot of the core courses in sociology and psychology, but I wasn't required to. So I got basically the core curriculum, college basic studies type curriculum, plus I took typical psychology and sociology classes and politics classes that were in that department, in that college at my university.
Where you got the degree. And the reason you did that is because you went to all these other schools and just threw all of those materials on.
No, the reason why I did that is I wanted to sort of design my own major. I believed in educational reform. So I also went to communes and collectives and co-ops, and I wrote term papers about it, you know, and got credit for that mixed in with the regular stuff.
Yeah.
And I was also, when I dropped out of college after a year and a half, and traveled around a lot of the next couple of years.
What year was that?
That was 1967, at the very end, late December. I was last in college as a sophomore, first term sophomore. And then 68, I began some travel. And I'd say I really hit the hippie world, the hippie street world. I hit it that time.
That was the only time to hit it?
It had some real drug users and some violence, but actually
so
a much more optimistic and hopeful scene in the street scene now. There was a lot of optimism about being the next wave of the future, you know. And, you could be homeless and feel like a visionary. You were the pioneer.
For those 2 years.
You were the pioneer out there staking out the new Woodstock nation, to use a commercial term.
And by 69 it had all blown away because they'd blown it away.
And there were just a few of us left hiding, but we managed to stay out of sight until, you know, attention toward us.
And now we're coming back out!
And here we are.
We're here again! We're here again!
Yes.
Look out!
Have the camera. Show them the room.
Ready for the revolution!
Show them the room. This is what we've come to. You know.
So what happened? What happened to your hippie days?
To my hippie days? Well,
yeah. What made you decide to go back and get a degree after that?
The streets were too unhealthy. It was too much work. You never have to work so hard as when you're freezing to death or when you have to go through humiliation just to survive. It took too much physical and emotional energy to have no roof over my head. I'm much more of a bum. Smart bums have a place, and you know it. And
who knows? The camera? The camera doesn't know nothing.
No, the interviewer. You know. So it actually is quite a lot of effort to be on the street. Maybe 9 out of 10 days I could find a living room couch or something to stay on, but that 10th day that was cold or was dangerous just wasn't worth it. And the constant, why doesn't that bum work type feeling was really hard to bear, really hard to feel good about yourself and everybody's considering you.
So peer pressure.
Peer pressure was part of it. Plus I had the opportunity to go to college, which was easier. I got a scholarship to college, actually. And I could still have a lot of leisure time and party down. And I traveled in the summertime then, you know, and I made these independent study courses where I would get credit for my hitchhiking around, and I would have some living expenses paid by a scholarship or by part-time work. I would maybe sublet a place and come back in 6 months, that kind of thing. So I realized that I needed to stay out of the cold and party less.
Stay out of the cold and party more?
Well, I think I partied less dangerously in college, although I still partied than I did when I was on the street.
So then how long did it take you to get through college?
I began as a freshman in the fall of 1965, and I took my Bachelor of Arts degree in June of 1975. So it took me 10 years to get my BA, and I theoretically been working on the master's in 77.
Yeah. Hey, what's that, man? I did not get a hold of Amy. She was out when I called, but I left a message on her machine, so she'll... Yeah. Keep talking.
That's hard to do.
Okay, good enough. Let me get on. I'll give you a call in 20 minutes. Okay, bye. So we got you into college for 10 years.
Yeah, and then for my master's degree, I've only spent 12 months so far. I expect I'll graduate in 15 or 20. I have done all of my thesis, which has been the case. I had 9 out of 12 courses after 2 years. I finished up 3 incompletes that gave me all 12 courses about 3-4 years later, 84. And since 84, I've technically been working on my thesis.
Technically.
Since
how long do they give
79. They only give you 5 years, and I run off the computer, and they've given me a couple of extensions, but I'm not on one now. So there's no clear signs that I could go back. I have a letter from the program director saying, unless you gave us a complete, well-organized thesis, we could not consider re-registering you. But they didn't say, if you have a complete, well-organized thesis, we will register you. It just said, we can't consider registering you without it.
But you could write the thesis without.
I probably, if I submitted one, they might be lax enough and like some of the activism I've done that they would go for.
Well, they'd have to like the thesis.
Well, yeah, but I could do something. I could give them something other people couldn't give. I could do a little original, view of bread and jams or something.
Well, you should.
I grieve not having done it.
So when did you take on your political guise?
I think my sea change was February 4th, 1948, when I got my draft card. And just before that, I had written a paper.
19 what?
68.
60.
48.
You said
48 was my birthday. I'm sorry. So 1965. 1966, February 4th, I turned 18, and I had just finished a half year of college. And I had in my first term, I had written a paper that said, I don't care about the draft. It was requested from my professor, would Jesus accept the draft? It was a really excellent question. And I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm only 17. I'd rather play pinball and, look at girls. And then when I got my draft card, it became an issue, and Vietnam was heating up around that time. And by that summer, I earned my draft card. And it wasn't really political so much as I didn't want to get my ass shot up. I thought it would be worse than getting beat up in high school. And I didn't want to get beat up again, so I figured, why get shot? I mean, I'm not willing to die for my country, maybe I'm willing to get sick. But I'd rather just have fun for my country. I'm looking for a country that will let me do that.
When I find a country that'll allow me to have fun.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I keep looking for the same country. So there was no, you didn't listen to anybody? Who told you that you should burn your draft card?
I must have seen it on the news or in Life magazine or something. I don't think anyone out of my own personal life. It must have come over the media, because I lived in a real conservative southern town around that time. It was Lakeland, Florida. It was an all-American town. The blacks lived on one side of the tracks and the whites on the other. And, except for an occasional lynching, there wasn't much crossover.
Then you just walked out in the street and burnt your draft card?
No, I actually did it in the privacy of my own home where it was a lot safer.
It was a lot safer. Did you have a ceremony and everything? Did your
I
friends
think
come
I
and
did
see
it in
you?
front of my family.
Just to
Kind of shocked.
So what did your family say about it?
They weren't that happy, I guess. My brother joined the service the same year.